Dr. Norbert, thank you very much for being here with us. And let's start with just an introductory question. What inspires you originally to write the book GeoFuture, Eurasian Complexity, Connectivity, and Sustainability? Thank you very much, Dr. Norbert.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Welcome to the Center for Studies to the Global Economic Future. I'm very glad that can be the part of the interview of the author. Yeah, it's true. The book is a GeoFuture about it's a big picture, the synthesis of the geopolitics, geoeconomics, and the geography, even the focusing about Eurasian complexity, connectivity, and sustainability. As a geographer, I just want to use my maps because for geographers always is very important. So this is the Arabic, the cover of the book, and this is the cover of the book, even the focusing of the three main area. You know, his idea of the book is coming from the Singapore model. Is an Nanyang University is always invite of the international professors, is make special geo lectures. So I just thinking of my 5 lectures is including of the books of 1 TEDx talk, 2 university lectures, international university lectures, and 2 public speech from the last years. So the book including of the 6 part, 24 chapters, and including 64 maps to understand is a change and challenge of the across the geography. And I use of the 3 main passwords are connectivity, complexity, sustainable in the Eurasian age. So it's very important because we are mixing the word, you can getting like Eurasian complexity, complex Eurasia, and even is like the complex sustainability, and even the complex Eurasian sustainable connectivity in our decades. Even of the book of the preface, I wrote about this chapter is called 21 Theses to the 21st Century and some examples. We are living of the age of fusion and age of networks. We're living of the new Renaissance age, raise the global cities and the main hubs. We're living of the new tectonical shift, the new world order, where the new players, new collaboration, new platform, new values, new missions starting. And as I know, it's like a geographer always say, this geography is a destiny. And if you want to understand the current affairs, we need to understand about the geographical progress. So what is my main inspiration about my GeoFuture book? For me, it's always geopolitics is getting in more and more popular, but always the geopolitical writer focusing from the political side. So I just, even interesting, as a geographer, is focusing by the geo side, because for me, the geo is a politics, economics, future, vision, future, technology, and design, like geopolitics, geoeconomics, geofuture, geovision, geofusion, as my book title, geotechnology, and the geodesign is very important. And of course, is the geography is not just only the memorizing the place of the map, but with the geography, we can understand all the current affairs, what's happened in a big picture around us. So this is like a new way of thinking, where it's an economic thinker, political thinker, and geographer thinkers meeting. So, you know, if the book's about the revenge of geography, so we should focus on the geography across the connectivity and the complex worldview, because we need for the big pictures and of course need by the maps.
Well, okay, so I think I will jump into this introduction precisely highlighting if we want to know your opinion on the importance of maps of geography. And we are not talking about maps with you. Maybe you can perhaps elaborate much more on that concept, because you just shared with us a very, very strong statement. Geography is destiny. So why it is important to know how to read maps and new maps that are arising out there in the 21st century?
Thank you very much for this interesting question. Even, you know, in the Middle East, or it's like sailors' proverbs, is navigare necesse est. You should travel, you should navigate, you should to know where to know. And even the maps is help us to navigate where we are in the world. What is the main future across to the economy, geopolitical, and even about the geography. if you are focusing on maps, this is the European perspective world maps, because you can find of the Europe in the middle of the map. So what can we see in this special map? So it's a 3 main ocean, 5 continents, 6 different color. We can find us different with the countries. But if you see these special world maps by the Asian perspective, you can find of the different perspective. And even if the focusing by the Chinese perspective of the new world map, you can find this absolute different world map. So it's very simple, because if you are travel from New York to Shanghai, or Shanghai to the New York, to using of the shortest way, so going across the North Pole, and this is occasion that always is important, that how is the world maps looks like, what is the world map is show for us. And even I think is the map is like a glasses, but we are living of the complex world, and we need more glasses to understand and navigate or the complex system. And of course, I think as a geographer, if we can read our maps, we can understand all the challenges. And I just want to show is 2 more maps about how is we are living of the dynamic world, and we need just for the new dynamic maps. So our world maps is not statics anymore, but just start moving. So this map is showing for us, for example, the gross primary productivity of the world system. So how is our Earth breathing from January to the December? Where is the climate action can show for us is a diversity, and biological primary productivity is getting more rich. Or for example, speaking about the cities, the growing of the cities, the age of the global cities period, the main hubs, how is the cities growing? I think is very similar. The structure is like a biology. So the cities is going like a corals, but is a corals is growing as only 1 centimeter per year. Cities is growing much more faster. So I think is a biology, physical geography, economic, and geo design to help for us to understand much more what's happen around us.
Well, these maps are really impressive. I have definitely to assert this. Can you shed lights on this direction, precisely on the 3 main keywords of this new world order? Can you, for instance, relying on these maps, on these concepts that you mentioned, the age of the global cities period, can you provide an example of region, nation, states, cities in the articulation of such new world order?
Yes, I want to show my favorite maps. In the Middle Age, it always was a very special maps, where is an Asia, Europe, and Africa meeting. But today is a Dubai in the center of the world maps. If the focusing by this map, so in these maps, it was the Dubai Expo map. The 3 main area is mobility, opportunity, and sustainability. In my reading about this map, I call it mobility is like connectivity, opportunity is a complexity, and sustainability is a sustainability. And in the middle, we can find is al-wasl, is Arabic word, is Dubai ancient name, its meaning of the connection to the world. So it's a Dubai, even it's like a global hub, can connect all to the world. So this is an al-wasl, is a new architecture symbol of the 21st century, the new Eiffel Tower in our decade. So if you are focusing, for example, the connectivity map, we can find about is a fusion and networks today. I just want to focusing this, for example, of the map of the knowledge. So for this map, we can find of the collaboration of authors of scientific article living of the different places. So between 2005 and 2010, 23,000 co-authored articles born around the space. But what's happened in 10 years later between 2015 and 2020? So we're getting with more connected world, more networks maps, and even we can find about the race of Asia, the MENA region, the Indian subcontinent, the Far East, is getting more and more complex and is more important. And the other map, for example, is a very interesting, the airplane travel connection between the different airplane company. So it's Emirates, Lufthansa, American Airways, and the different areas. And if the focusing in more than 6,000 different airplane, 23,000 airplane connection, we can find these very special connectivity maps. So by these maps, we can focusing of the main bone and the main arteria of the global travel traffic by the airplane route. But even the most important, the end of the small nerves, so it's called, it's like cities, the global cities. And I call more than 64 global cities, how I call them is a fusion polis. We're getting across to the one map to the getting for connection today. So I think about this connectivity map is important, and the competitive connectivity is the K, the geopolitical driver is our age. It's very interesting. I made this very special map in 2019. So I believe that we have 1,000,000 kilometer internet cable under the sea, 2 million kilometer pipeline, 4 million kilometer tram line, 64 million kilometer highway. And if you're getting together to the airplane routes and the global city together, this is the map, what I call is a geofusion. The geofusion, it is a meaning of the networks of the geopolitics and the geopolitical networks together. So this is the map, and even after, when it's 2020, the COVID virus is starting, going across the world, the viruses and pandemic following for same password. So it means how is the connectivity important to understand of the world current affairs today. And sorry, just one more things about for the complexity, because only of the focusing at the time of the connectivity. So what is the complexities meaning? One of my favorite cover of the Nature magazine. So this is the cover magazine of the 100 years of the scientific magazine and the journal designed to the cover. So this is 88,000 studies published. And this, the picture, this I think is like dataism. The paintings, the digital, the paintings, created by the Hungarian physicist and the network, the professor Barabashi Albert László is creating in more than 88,000 students together. So we can find of the different color of the medical publication, engineering publication, technological publication, economic publication, natural science publication together. And if the focusing, for example, of the net, what's the next map, you have to asking is which is the most complex map in our century. This picture, this is the map of the internet. So every meeting point, more and a million connection. And even if the focusing of the other map, this is the map of the Twitter. So the Twitter map, we can find of the new cooperation, new collaboration, more than 33,000 connection across the globe. And this very special map is right about the circle. So how is different places, the cities, nation is converged together. I believe in our decade of the cities, the nation is getting more important, working together, the harmony with the region. And even this picture, this very special map is showing us about all complexity and connectivity of our future.
There is a statement that you just shared with us claiming that there are 64 global cities, and you initiated this endeavor conducting research and from Hungary to the rest of the world. So how Hungary specifically, and with your experience all over these global cities in your trips, can benefit from the characteristics of such global cities as like Dubai to achieve success or to be part of this network that you are sharing visually with us in your maps?
Thank you very much. I think Dubai is not just for the global hub of the new words. not just only the global hub of the Eurasia, Dubai or Emirates of the new model for the future. So what is the pearl on the Middle East it offer of the Hungary? So what can we learn from Dubai? I just focusing on 6 points. The first is a vision, vision, vision. Every city, every nation is very important, have to be for the long-term strategy, where we have to be in the future. For example, in Dubai and Emirates, the world's best quality of life and entrepreneurial environment. And the second point is openness to the world, the connections, how is important. Best airport, best transport infrastructure is Dubai is a global hub between East and the West. You know, if just thinking from New York to London, you can arrive around maximum 8 hours. From London to Dubai, you arrive to the maximum 8 hours. And from Dubai, you can travel everywhere around 8 hours. So for the 64 global cities and mega cities, this is the middle point, the main point across the world for connection for me is the Dubai airport and even of the Emirates and the Dubai. And the third point about innovation in the geographical space, about urban development, how is important. Not just create for the new architecture, but is a create of the best living quality for the people together. The fourth is efficient of the clear government, of course, a crossing for the vision. And the fifth point, experience of the driven tourists, leisure and pleasure, cultural attraction, the family-based, the best venues, what is the city and the places can offer of the best quality. Quality is everything. You have to be in the first in the world. And the sixth point, what I think is the most important, what I learned from Dubai is that impossible is possible. So you have to focus on the future and the focusing of the future about the future perspective. And even is very important because as a Hungary, we have about the long-term strategy. Hungarian vision is the family-based job creation and focusing of the future perspective of the nature, culture, future, and the future it means the talent, knowledge, technology, and the capital together. So it's very important for the political issues by the safest families, the creating about the new jobs. The last 10 years, around 10 million population, less than 10 million population, the Hungarian government create more than 1 million new jobs. We are focusing our strengths. So we are Europe and Asia too. So it's how to be the Central European or the European Eurasian hub in the future. Innovation and creative industry. We are very rich in water, the special of the hot thermal spring water. Budapest is a spa capital of the world. So we have to focus not just only of the water, but of the new health industry, the base of the thermal water together. I'm very proud that, you know, is the Hungarian tradition. The knowledge of the engineers is so important. So we have to focus about this new economic sectors like automotive industry, new sustainability industry, the green growth industry, technology together, and the focusing of the growth to the global niche. 5 years ago, of the MIT and Stanford, as MIT and Harvard is creating for economic complexity index, and we are very proud. Is Hungary is the member of the top 10 club, so it means that we are very complex economic structure, focusing of the high added value engineering sectors, and this is what we are learning together with the Arabic Emirates and the Hungaries together.
I want to draw on the concept of complexity, Dr. Norbert, precisely because after delivering the statements regarding the features of Dubai, such as vision, connection, innovation, family values, impossible is possible, and so on, there are many countries that perhaps are not really embracing concept of complexity and sustainability. So what are the main challenges and opportunities facing these nations on the 21st century in terms of sustainability, connectivity, and complexity, and what should be, in your assessment, key success factors for the future?
It's very interesting. If you are focusing, for example, on Eurasia, we can find this very special map, these urban areas where is more than 5 million people living together. So this is like the spotlight in the light in the dark, so it's in the midnight the ages. So when I wrote my book, is a GeoFusion book, I focusing what is the new competitiveness of these global hubs, the global cities. And I find across the connectivity, across the complexity is the new competitiveness, urban competitiveness, the global cities competitiveness, what I call them, because we are learning of the physical geography, economic geography, but we need to learn of the third geography. It's called functional geography and the fusional geography. So my word map, these 64 global cities is a fusionopolis. So the 64 global cities give the global GDP more than 50%. And the new competitiveness of the global cities rankings. So not that New York, London, and Tokyo anymore, the top cities, but there's Singapore, Dubai, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Chengdu, Seoul, and of course, London, New York, Tokyo, and Paris. And after I just recognizing across to the geography, if the same for a city, we find of the same axis on this line, I call this innovation and technology axis. So this axis, we can find the most innovation nation, Israel, Emirates, Singapore, Korea, and the three Chinese hubs like Shenzhen and the Bay Area, Shanghai, and Chengdu Chongqing urban conglomeration together. So I call this axis is kids country, Korea, Israel, Dubai, and Singapore. And with three Chinese cities, it's calling of the kids in chief. So what is the common point for these places? The first, this is small nations. So it's very important to the future, the small nation getting the huge knowledge, collect the talent, focusing of the future, intellectual resource should dimension to the vision, the long-term strategy and the vision. The second point is a strong value behind the vision. The third, about the smart blend of the traditional and modern. I believe in the future is ancient patterns, ancient story, ancient mythology is getting for a new reborning, and the technological effect is the creating for new things. And the 4 points, of course, this nation, the city is always using of the newest technology. And this places is getting of the world-class education. How is university is important. And this nation is realizing that is a talent is installed in early as the possible. These places we can find of the best airports and the largest ports. So it means not just only of the hub centers, but focusing of the main transport system, connecting of the main transport system. We can find here of the main innovation drivers, the main financial centers, the best business environment, location, most competitiveness places, best university, and even the cities is a very, very good attraction to make for this new connection, what is the very important. So this is that the Kitsinchi is one part, and this is of the eastern part. So we can say that this very special line is going, the maps is showing us how is the can works together.
I think at this point of the discussion, it will be interesting to draw back again to the reason of your current contribution, geofusion, the power of geography and the mapping of the 21st century. In your opinion, what role does Eurasia play in the global economy and geopolitics of this current geofusion phenomenon that you are sharing with us?
So it's the focusing of Eurasia. My book about is geofusion, the power of geography and the mapping of the 21st century. The first main question, who will be the winner nation and leaders in our decade? How can we describe the world across the geography? And I wrote in not just only of the geofusion books, but even of the GeoFuture book. is the future is a long-term, sustainable, complex, and connectivity system of the new Eurasian age. So if you are thinking is what is Eurasia? And the Mr. Mahmoud is thought about, yeah, it's a supercontinent, more than 55 million square kilometers, and more than 40% of the Earth island, more than 5 billion people living here. And this is the 9,000 kilometer long contiguous physical geography places. And if you're focusing, for example, how is the GDP is important? This is, we can find here all for connectivity and the sea routes between eastern part of Asia, of the western part of the Europe. So if the focusing of the GDP, we are living of the multipolar world order. So what does it mean? So this chart, we can see it very simple. United States and North America, China and Asia, and European countries with the MENA region together is getting of the three pole, but we can pole is maybe it is more multipolar. If you see, for example, the future map about the economy, the GDP, the PPP 2060, we can recognize that China GDP is larger than United States. India is going very fast, Indonesia is getting is #4 country in the world. And if the focusing of the maps of the different aspects, we can find how is Asia getting and more important. But this map is showing of the real examination, what's happened in the last 20 years. GDP per capita grow between 2000 and 2010. So we can find about is Asia going very fast. Asia is going very fast. And just only the year 2019, if you see the countries, how is it distributed by the global growth, we can find is China, an Asian country, give the world GDP grow more than 63%. Just China is give for the 33%, and other Asian countries give of the other 30%. United States give the 8%, European countries give to the 8%. So how you see is important will be of the future. And the second things, one I think is very, very important across to the economy, these nations, these countries, the focusing of the technology. So I think is why is Europe is lost for the competition? Because can't follow for technological progress. So if you see for this map, we can find about unicorn companies across the world in the different industry, the big data, educational, tech, fintech, healthcare, real estate, media, social. We can find about this special maps in Asia getting and more important.
Let's rely on these trends or this tendency that you are showing to us, and I think it's very impressive also to take into account that during this showing the gross domestic product for purchasing power parity regarding of China, that many people don't really show about what's really the weight of such economy in the world. What are these geopolitical and economic trends and how they will shape the next decade in Eurasia and perhaps even in the upcoming century, Dr. Norbert?
If the focusing for megatrends in the post-COVID period, I think is the new world order is not just start 1 or 2 years ago. For my reading, is start is 10 years ago. In 2013 is a two things. The first about the technological companies getting larger company than other company. And the second one is the Eurasian connectivity is started is 10 years ago. So what is the megatrend and how is the COVID is shaped the world? So is a new megatrend is like digitalization and touchless economy, the money revolution, the green economy, the global regularization and deglobalization is a new world order. It's like a multipolar world. Is a rule tech for the company and, for example, in online shopping. But we have for the COVID is not just only of the change of the history, but we can recognize our every daily life. How is the megatrends getting in stronger and stronger? So there's 4 new megatrends. It's one home, a lot of function. safety and balance, healthy lifestyle, and the future of work. I think the COVID showed for us how is the health is important, the technology and how industry, how is real shape of the future, and even, for example, of the the artificial intelligence. This map is very interesting. It's a showing of us of the last 20 and the next 20 years of the main megatrends: society, economy, money, food, technology, retail, environment, media, transport, politics, energy, education, healthcare, security, and the male values. And this is a special fictive metro map, but we are in the middle of the map. So year 2010 and between 2020. And if you're going for the future, we travel across to the suburbs area. So going is more fine. So we find about the main three actors, the main three passwords are connectivity, complexity, and sustainability. And the two main other area is like globalization or deglobalization. So this is the main thing, is how is real changing for the next decade or for the next period or the next phases for the different cities and the different countries.
What lessons? I think following this conversation, perhaps it's just left to try to assess in the future how we can shape a strategic vision for the future. So, what lessons do you think can be drawn from historical examples of cooperation and conflict that can perhaps better improve the situation in Eurasia? And how can these examples of cooperation and conflict can inform the strategic vision for the future of the region?
Thank you very much for it. It's a really, really interesting question, because I think of the past is a good example to understand to the future. When I started thinking, so what is the structure of the different cities, different nations, and what is the structure of the geostructure of the world? After I thinking, if the humans got of the DNA structure, what we think about the geography, the places is got for the DNA structure. And I find it, for example, of the four main factors. The first is about the physical geography factors. The second of society and human factors. The third about economic factors. And the fourth about connectivity, infrastructures, technology, and hub factors. So what does it mean? For example, the physical geography, the factors. Where is the country? How is it territorial? How many kilometers get for the sea part? What is about the geological base? How is it about the climate action? What do you think about the future for natural resources? The society, what is the population? How is the age structure to the future? What is the educational system? The economic factors are the GDP, for example, the military power together, and different economic factors, and the connectivity infrastructure is always different. And if we are focusing from the past history to the future, we can recognize is 500 years ago, and more than 500 years ago, not just only of the sea routes, but even of the land route was very important. If we are speaking, for example, of the Silk Road or Belt and Road initiative, the story starting more than 2000 or more than 3000 years ago. We can see this map in the 3rd, 11th or 12th century, the trade routes between Europe and Asia. How is the region is what thing is very and very important today. And if focusing for today, so what is the Belt and Road Initiative? Is a connectivity. So the meaning of the Belt and Road Initiative, the give back for development from the sea back to the mainland, together to the sealand. But we can find about is more than 6 economic corridor, 1 program, 2 wings, and the prosperity of the future, and even the making by the connectivity between the city. 10 years ago, and where is the start of the Belt and Road Initiative, what is the largest investments, all the human history, is making 64 countries. Today is joining is 135 countries. And even, for example, if focusing what's happening in Russia and Ukraine today, focusing of the Northern Eurasian area, the start of the blocking, it meaning of the other part, the middle corridor is getting and more important. The future, I think, not just only of the East Asia, but in the MENA region, it will be the more and more important to the future. And if focusing, what is the structure of our geopolitical, geoeconomical, geographical aspect in our world, we can find about the gateway region. I think the gateway region is more important to the future. ASEAN countries, there is an Emirate of the gateway place, not just only of the gateway. The gateway for me, it means of the main hubs to the future. And we are glad because of Central Asia and our region, the Central and Eastern Asia, is getting of the new gateway between Europe and Asia. Is the gate, is the new bridge for connectivity between East and West. And how is the future is Hungary can join together for the new connectivity. This map is showing of the geopolitical structure in the world. So different aspects. George Friedman is a Hungarian origin geopolitical thinker told, if you want to focus on the future, you can focusing the line between the Capricorn and the northern line. So it means of the northern part of 32 degrees to the 67 degrees together. You can find the most stronger geopolitical player. We can find is the most important area. The other area, like how is the John Halford making the thought about the heartlands and the pivot area is working, we can finding of the invisible lands from Amazonia, the Sahara Desert, and the northern Siberia. And there is a city north to this region, is a different part. I call this like yin and yang geopolitics. How is the infrastructure, transport, energy lines, pipelines going together? And the south part, this is like, I call this like hardware. And the southern part, I call this like a software, like a soft technology, intellectual part, the best university, the new financial centers can find. And if you are focused, we can find more the southern area, this Kitsinchi new innovation and technological axis. So it's even together. So not just only of the focus, Eurasia is about the China story, but all the Asia story is the Dubai story, Singapore story, Central Asian story. And the European have to understand it's very important. It's a big European country, collaboration together with the United States, but both in Asia too, because of the future is a long-term vision, sustainability. And finally, I just want to focus on the three main passwords. Sustainability, what does it mean? Why is it important? Because we are the human created the future for our next generation. So it's very important. We have to be the comprehensive and life-centered world order for the next decade. So this is occasion like the holistic vision, like technology strategy, the population health, energy vision, food and cities and nation can work together. And this is occasion that is an economy, society, and biosphere together. Geography is a natural science, but it's going this economic science, human science together. So this is what is the complexity is meaning for us. So we are, I think, of the 24th hour in a day, we can choose which future we want to live. Is sustainable, new technological order words or the unsafe and instability word. So this is what can be always learning from the East, from the Asia. And this is a very, very glad that to make the interview with you, because your think tank is a center for studies, the global economic future, always the focusing for the future perspective, very complex connectivity and across to the technology and sustainability together.
Dr. Norbert, we would like to be many hours with you, but the time is limited. But definitely we will be back with you as soon as possible, and definitely we go back to this conversation. So on behalf of the Center for the Study of the Global Economic Future, I want to thank you for your time and for this very widely detailed presentation that you just shared with us. And saying that, I want to give the floor to Mr. Mahmoud Sharif, Director of the Center for the Study of the Global Economic Future here in Dubai. Thank you very much, Dr. Robert. Mr. Robert.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Renny Castaneda, for moderating this interview. I would like to thank you a lot. Dr. Norbert Csizmadia, thanks a lot for your time and for your thoughts and idea. It is highly and very innovative. You have an enormous ability to discover patterns and come up with innovative thoughts and predictive and futuristics in terms of their geographical, geopolitical, and economic and geoeconomic implication. And I would like to thank you for your innovative geographic thoughts and for your participation and for your time tonight with us. Hopefully this will be not the first session, but there will be more activity that we're going to conduct together. Thanks a lot, Dr. Norbert, and we would like to thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.